Yes, we appear to be ready. We're ahead of schedule here. How about that? Right, if you're ready, I'm ready. Here we go. Welcome to Academic Challenge. My name is Jim Gifford, your host and moderator. Today we are featuring the teams from Bridgman and St. Joseph. WSJM's Academic Challenge features scholastic competition involving high schools from Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties. Academic Challenge is sponsored by Southwestern Michigan College, Lake Michigan College, Western Michigan University Southwest, and by Chemical Bank. And the first thing we need to do here today is meet the teams. So from Bridgman, just to step up to the mic and identify yourself.
Hi, my name's Stephen Walker, and I'm a senior.
Jason Chang, senior.
Carissa Steffens, senior.
Carly Warner, junior.
And you're the captain, Stephen, is that correct?
That's correct.
You are correct. And your coach or coaches?
Our coaches are Mrs. Veldman and Mr. Nicka.
Very nice. And from St. Joseph?
I'm Trevor Geisinger, and I'm a junior.
Fangmo Yuan, junior.
Patrick Fisher, sophomore.
Julia Spiegel, junior.
Trevor, you're the captain?
Yes.
And your coach or coaches are?
Gary Etter.
Gary Etter. Couldn't be with us tonight?
He's not with us.
Coaching elsewhere, right?
Yes.
Does he coach everything there?
Seems like it.
All right, then. I'll be your scorekeeper and co-judge along with Steve Smith. Steve will be asking the questions tonight. And is everybody ready?
Ready.
And if so, let's get to it with the first question. Steve?
A 20-point question to start. In the field of biology, what is the shape of a logistic or restricted growth curve?
Carissa, Bridgman.
An S-curve.
That's correct. For 5 points, the General Accounting Office is the fiscal watchdog of which branch of the federal government? Whoops, and who was that?
Okay.
Funbo from St. Joe.
Executive.
Not correct.
Bridgman. 10 seconds. Carissa, Bridgman.
Judicial.
No, it's the legislative branch. For 20 points, the first Women's Rights Convention was held in what year?
1894.
Trevor, one warning on this. You need to wait for the recognition here. So, Trevor, St. Joe?
1894.
Not correct.
Bridgman, 10 seconds. Stephen, Bridgman.
1873.
1848 is the answer. For 10 points, before you judge another man, walk a mile in his moccasins, remarks Atticus Finch, the main character in what novel?
Trevor, St. Joe?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Correct.
For how many points?
10 points.
Thank you.
For 5 points, as a philosopher, he was a logical positivist to whom the Vienna Circle and Einstein owed a great deal for his scientific methodology. In physics, his name is given to units of speed, measured in terms of the speed of sound through a given medium.
Funbo, St. Joe.
Mach.
That's correct, Ernst Mach.
How many points?
That was a 5-point question. Journeys have always been a popular literary theme. Here are 4 questions about journeys. First for 5 points. Which author described one to the center of the earth?
Funbo, St. Joe.
Jules Verne.
That's correct. For 10 points, in what book by Jules Verne does a journey begin and end at the Reform Club, Pall Mall?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Around the World in 80 Days.
That's correct.
For
10 points.
Thank you.
Now for 15, what famous literary traveler left Bristol in the Antelope on May 4, 1699, and returned to the English Channel on April 13, 1702? Lemuel Gulliver. And for 20 points, in what work does a journey begin at an inn in Southwark but never reach its destination?
Trevor, St. Joe.
The Canterbury Tales.
That's correct for 20 points. For 10 points, the Whiskey Rebellion was in Pennsylvania. Rhode Island had Dorr's Rebellion. Shays' Rebellion took place in 1786 in what state?
Patrick, St. Joe.
Massachusetts.
That's correct.
For how many?
10 points. For 10 points, his life was gentle, and the elements so mixed that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this was a man. Of which conspirator in the assassination of Julius Caesar is Mark Antony speaking?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Brutus.
That's correct for 10 points. For 5 points, the stalwarts and the half-breeds were the two rival factions of the Republican Party that what president tried to unite in his brief term of office in 1881?
Patrick, St. Joseph.
Cleveland.
Not correct.
Bridgman. Stephen, Bridgman.
Grant.
Garfield is the president we're looking for. For 20 points, what is the first line of John Keats' poem Endymion? A thing of beauty is a joy forever. For 10 points, the German Halbinsel, the Norwegian Halvøy, and the Russian Pov can all describe New Jersey, Florida, Italy, and Sinai.
Funbo, St. Joe.
Peninsula.
Peninsula is correct for 10 points. For 5 points, what is the term applied to the practice of secretly importing goods, either to avoid paying customs duties?
Patrick, St. Joe.
Smuggling.
That's correct for 5 points. For 10 points, the founder of Kentucky's Emancipation Party and an ambassador to Russia was what abolitionist and distant relative of Henry Clay, with the same first and last name as a former heavyweight boxing champion?
Jason, Bridgman.
Muhammad Ali.
Not correct.
St. Joe. Trevor, St. Joe.
Sonny Liston.
Not correct. You were on the right path. Cassius Clay was the gentleman we were looking for. For 20 points, its name in Chinese means Golden Gate. Name this island often paired with Matsu.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Taiwan.
Not correct.
Bridgman.
Quemoy is the island. For 5 points, the Department of Labor defines it as any work in excess of 8 hours per day or 40 hours per week. Also, it often includes work on...
Funbo, St. Joe.
Overtime.
That's correct for 5 points. For 20 points, musical instruments are manufactured from a variety of materials. From what is the head of the timpani made?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Animal skin.
More specific.
Calf skin.
That's correct for 20 points. Another question for 20 points. You would find Bilbo and Gandalf in Middle-earth. In what fantasy land would you find Nibs, Peter, Curdie, the first and...
Julia, St. Joe.
Never Neverland.
That's correct.
For 20.
For 20. For 5 points, the only president buried in Washington, D.C., the only president to defeat 2 former presidents in an election, the first president to visit Europe, and the first president to hold a press conference. He did so in 1913. Who am I describing? That was Woodrow Wilson. For 10 points, it is the nature of people to complain about taxes of any kind, but there is one form of tax about which Americans complain the least. What's your guess on the tax Americans find the easiest to take?
Stephen, Bridgman.
Sales tax.
That's correct for 10 points. For 15 points, if a plane goes through the center of a sphere, what specifically is the intersection called?
Funbo, St. Joe.
Cross section.
Not correct.
Bridgman, Jason.
Vertex.
Great circle is what we were looking for. Now a math question. Pencils at the ready. 15 points. On a pirate ship, the square root of the crew is equal to the number of female crew members. There are 72 males on the crew. How many pirates are there altogether?
Funbo, St. Joe.
81.
That's correct for 15 points. For 5 points, identify the speech problem of Sylvester the cat.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Lisp.
And that's correct for 5 points. For 20 points, in Paradise Lost, Milton called it the asphaltic pool. Name this body of water in the Middle East.
Funbo, St. Joe.
Dead Sea.
That's correct for 20 points. For 5 points, under the cupola of the Church of the Dome is one of the most revered monuments in France. The tomb of what famous Frenchman?
Funbo, St. Joe.
Charlemagne.
Not correct.
Bridgman. Stephen, Bridgman.
Napoleon.
That's the one. 5 points.
5 points.
Yep. For another 5 points, the annual southward migration of what kind of animal?
Clear.
Clear.
Oh, sorry.
The annual southward migration of what kind of animal to breeding grounds off Baja, California begins the first week in December?
Funbo, St. Joe.
Humpback whale.
Not correct.
Bridgman.
Seagulls.
Jason.
Seagulls.
Not correct. The gray whale. Another math question
And this will be the final question in this first half.
for 5 points. For a 7.5-hour day, Carl makes $60. How much does he make in 1 hour?
Trevor, St. Joe.
$8.
That's correct. 5
Four.
points.
5 points. All right, then. That will wrap up the first half of today's academic challenge. We'll be back with the score in the 62nd round after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest. All right, people. Take a quick break. Catch your breath.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Teams, your 3 categories to choose from. Teams, for the 62nd round, your 3 categories to choose from are official languages, life science, and nursery rhymes.
Official languages. Official languages.
Official language. I think official languages was official languages, nursery rhyme.
Official languages, life science, and nursery rhymes.
What's life science?
Complicated
biology
biology stuff.
Yeah.
Or it's a pun.
No, the team who Troy always chooses first.
Okay.
Well, don't
Alright.
get to.
I guess.
I'm sitting at the other two drinks. Just talking over the mic. It's just all
What do you want him talking into it?
That's actually what I was thinking of.
All right, guys. What else
She
do we
said-
have for our?
Is that better?
Envelope?
Yeah.
Is this better? Okay.
We made the AP honor roll. That's all. I got.
Take some bullet notes.
Swimming.
She knows
All
Spanish.
right, let me gather my thoughts here.
Miranda Stepka, one of our students, made all-state choir. 9 people to all-state orchestra. AP honor roll.
Life science, biology.
Not yet. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then men and women's basketball, competitive cheer.
35.
Not sure, actually.
All right, we can say S&E.
Yeah. We're
All
hosting.
right, so
No, I can say that. S&E.
What else?
9 students made.
Yeah, I don't know what else is going on.
Me?
Steve.
Yep. Okay, Jim Gifford is related to Kathy Lee Gifford.
Construction, study rep, especially in the auditorium. Have you seen the pictures of the new auditorium?
Who changed? Oh, Chris.
Yeah, the seats look nice.
Yeah. And
What's that?
the festival. Yeah.
All right, everybody ready?
Let's just say that's.
Come back with the score and set up the 62nd round,
They're choosing the first category.
and we're ready to go. Ready? Here we go. What?
Before we start, do I have the time on here?
60 seconds
60 seconds for each,
for the
the
whole.
whole thing.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you know when. At the end of the first half, the score is St. Joe 175, Bridgman 35. And we move on to the 62nd round. Teams, you'll have 3 categories to choose from. We'll give you 60 seconds to answer as many of the 10 questions as you can. Each one is worth 10 points. There will be a 20-point bonus if you answer all 10 within the time limit. You are encouraged to consult with one another at this point, but the answers must come from the team captain. And after the minute is up, the opposing team will have a chance to answer any questions the first team could not answer. And then we reverse the process, going the other way. Bridgman, you're trailing at the moment. You have the first choice of these categories. And Steve, again, the three categories were?
Official languages, life science, and nursery rhymes.
Bridgman, what is your choice?
We choose life science.
And at the beginning of this question, Sue, start the timer, and you'll have 60 seconds.
What's the common name for the humeroscapular joint?
Pass.
Most bacteria that enter the digestive system are destroyed by what substance in gastric juice?
Hydrochloric acid.
Correct. Eutrophication depletes a lake of what gas?
Methane.
Not correct. Shrews, moles, and hedgehogs belong to an order known for their diet of what?
Dirt.
Not correct. The word raptor refers to what type of birds?
Pass.
What cephalopod is the fastest swimming invertebrate?
Pass.
Which human process takes place in the alimentary canal?
Pass.
What specialization do members of the class Aves have in their forelimbs?
Joints.
Not correct. A maggot represents this stage in the metamorphosis of a fly.
Go ahead.
Larva. Or not. Yeah, larva.
That's correct.
2 correct answers?
Correct.
All right. And St. Joe, you'll have a chance to answer now any of those questions that were either passed on or were answered incorrectly.
What's the common name for the humeroscapular joint?
Funny bone.
Shoulder. Eutrophication depletes a lake of what gas?
Oxygen.
Correct. Shrews, moles, and hedgehogs belong to an order known for their diet of what?
Tubers.
Insects. The word raptor refers to what type of birds?
Predatory birds.
I'll take that. What cephalopod is the fastest swimming invertebrate?
Squid.
Correct. Which human process takes place in the alimentary canal?
Hearing.
Digestion. Which specialization do members of the class Aves have in their forelimbs?
Hollow bones.
Wings.
3 correct for St. Joe, 2 correct for Bridgman. And then let me add those up here. There were 10 points apiece. 30 added to that, 205. All right. So Bridgman, you answered 2 correctly for a total of 20 points. St. Joe answered 3 of them for 30 points. And now, St. Joe, it's your turn to choose from the remaining 2 categories.
We'll take official languages.
Official languages.
Official languages.
I will name a nation. You name its official language. Austria.
German.
Bahamas. That's correct. Bahamas.
Spanish.
Not correct. Belize.
Spanish.
Not correct. Iraq.
Farsi.
Not correct. Haiti.
French.
Correct. Bangladesh.
Bangla.
Not correct. Dominican Republic.
Spanish.
Correct. Suriname.
Swahili.
Not correct. Uganda.
Swahili.
Not correct. Cape Verde.
French.
Not correct.
Total of 3? 3 correct. And now, Bridgman, you will have a chance to answer any of the questions that were passed on or answered incorrectly by St. Joe.
Bahamas.
French.
English. Belize.
Portuguese.
English. Iraq.
Pass.
Arabic. Bangladesh.
Pass.
Bengali. Suriname.
Pass.
Dutch. Uganda.
French.
English. Cape Verde.
Spanish.
Portuguese.
Goose egg there for Bridgman. But nonetheless, that ends our 60-second round. We'll check the scores and conclude the game with our final segment next here on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest. All right. So 30 more for St. Joe, none for Bridgman. Up to 235.
Official languages. Yeah, I have that right here. Sean got like all 10 in a row by himself.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
I'm just zipping right along
Patrick,
here.
I'm sorry you never got to see Sean in action.
Yeah.
It was.
You could have been inspired.
Yeah, at least times 4.
Trevor and Fumble combined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great yeah, no.
Great barrier.
Oh my gosh, a Sean.
Good team. Yeah, Aaron, who read every single book that
Ever existed. Steven. Well, Steven wasn't good because he wasn't confident.
He was a kind
wasn't.
of math, yeah.
He wasn't confident.
I was a better math answer.
Yeah.
We got Shaw.
Sean, Christine.
Such a stacked team. We had
All right.
lost too. It was like
Everybody ready?
Yep.
We have home in time for a late dinner. The score at the end of the 62nd round, St. Joe 235, Bridgman 55. Time now to find out a little bit about what's happening at each of our participating schools. Let's start with Bridgman. And Captain Stephen, you're deferring to someone else, is that correct?
That's correct. I'm deferring to Carissa.
Carissa, tell us a little bit about what's going on at Bridgman.
Hi. There's been a lot happening at Bridgman High School. Last week was Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Students at Bridgman raised over $6,000 to benefit Sela House. The Orange Crush student section is also ranked in the top 5 in the state's Battle of the Fans. This week we are busy with Winterfest activities. Some of these activities include theme days, dodgeball, and a staff basketball game. To conclude the week, we have a basketball game against New Buffalo on Saturday. Finally, National Honor Society will be hosting Burrito Night on February 21st to raise funds for their charitable works.
All right, thank you, Carissa. And from St. Joe, Trevor, what's going on with the Bears?
Hi from St. Joe High School. The construction is finally wrapping up after a long project. The auditorium is almost complete, and the orchestra will be holding a grand opening in April. The high school made the AP honor roll this year. The swimming team is doing extremely well, and it's won or tied all of its dual meets. Senior Miranda Stepka made the All-State Honors Choir, which is very exciting for our school. The men and women's basketball teams are doing extremely well in their own seasons. The Solo and Ensemble Band and Orchestra Festival is coming up this weekend, and there are a lot of students participating in that. And 9 students from our high school made the All-State Orchestra, so we're very excited about what's going on.
Very nice. Thank you. And we have one substitution for the team from St. Joseph. Sir, identify yourself down there at the end.
I'm Christopher, and I'm a senior at St. Joe.
All right, welcome to the competition. Let's begin the second half of today's academic challenge between St. Joe and Bridgman. And Steve, take it away.
For 5 points teams, George Blanda was a pro quarterback until he was almost 50 years old. In 1949, he started his career with the Monsters of the Midway, better known as what?
And that's Trevor, St. Joe.
Chicago Bears.
That's correct for 5 points. Another 5 points, it's 5 feet below sea level, making it the lowest point in Louisiana. Name this large city.
Funbo, St. Joe.
New Orleans.
That's correct for 5 points. Another 5-point question, the gas law states that pressure times volume is proportional to temperature. This combines 2 other laws named after scientists. Name either one of them.
Funbo, St. Joe.
Charles's Law.
That's correct for 5 points. Boyle is the other. For 10 points, by what more fanciful name do we know a human's third molars?
Funbo, St. Joe.
Wisdom teeth.
That's correct for 10 points. Another 10-point question. Connecting Brooklyn to Staten Island, it is the longest suspension bridge in North America, with a length of 4,260 feet. Name it.
Funbo, St. Joe.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Not correct.
Bridgman. Stephen, Bridgman.
The Washington Bridge.
The Verrazano Narrows Bridge. 15 points. Before America had post offices, colonists sent and received correspondence at what local businesses?
Stephen, Bridgman.
General stores?
Not correct.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Taverns.
Taverns or inns will accept.
How many points?
15 points. For 10 points, the name's the same for these Americans. Admiral George, Pragmatist John, Librarian Melville, and New York Governor Thomas.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Dewey.
That's correct for 10 points. For 20 points, the Pope has several grand titles. One is Latin for Chief Bridge Builder. What is this title?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Pontifex Maximus.
That's correct for 20 points. Now, 4 questions. Let's have a spelling bee. For 5 points, how do you spell symmetrical?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Symmetrical.
That's correct for 5 points. Now for 10 points, susceptible.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Susceptible.
That's correct.
For 10?
For 10. For 15 points, panegyric.
Funbo, St. Joe.
Panageric.
Not correct.
Bridgman. Carly, Bridgman.
Panageric.
It's actually Panegyric. And for 20 points, sphygmomanometer.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Sphygonometer.
Not correct.
Bridgman. And it's time.
Very close. You missed an M. Sphygmomanometer.
How about that?
You have that one?
Who didn't know that?
Yeah, for 20 points. All American thoroughbred horses can be traced back to 3 stallions of which other breed?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Arabian.
That's correct for 20
20?
points. For 15 points, name in order the 3 capitals of Virginia. Hint, the dates they became capitals are 1607, 1699, and 1780. Those are Jamestown, Williamsburg, and Richmond. For 15 points, according to paleontologists, which of these eras of geologic history saw both the appearance and extinction of such early species as trilobites, eurypterids, and crinoids?
Funbo, St. Joe.
The Cambrian.
Not correct. Your choices are the Proterozoic, Archaeozoic, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, or Cenozoic.
Bridgman. Jason, Bridgman.
Mesozoic.
It's the Paleozoic. For 15 points, a legendary king of Crete wanted to hold captive a huge monster. Name the monster and the prison in which he was held.
Trevor, St. Joe.
The Minotaur and the Labyrinth.
Those are correct for 15 points. For 10 points, which of these ignites the fuel in the cylinder of a diesel engine? An electric spark, the injector, a supercharger, or the heat of compression?
Trevor, St. Joe.
The spark.
Not correct.
Jason, Bridgman.
The injector.
It's the heat of compression. For 5 points, if you take the word file and transpose the consonants, what other word do you get?
Funbo, St. Joe.
Life.
That's correct for 5 points. Another 5-point question. Which capital city is west of Meridian and east of Vicksburg?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Harrisburg.
Not correct.
Bridgman. Stephen, Bridgman.
Richmond?
Jackson, Mississippi. For 15 points, as a pitcher, he holds the record of having pitched 33 2/3 innings of scoreless baseball in World Series games in 1961. He was the Cy Young Award winner that year. Name him. And that was Whitey Ford. For 20 points, suppose you wake up in a pitch black room in a hunting lodge and there's no light handy. In your duffel bag, there are 6 black socks and 6 white ones, all mixed together. You want to pick out a matching pair. What's the smallest number of socks you can take out of the same bag and be sure of getting a pair of the same color?
Trevor, St. Joe.
7.
Not correct.
Bridgman. Carly, Bridgman.
4.
Would you believe 3? For 5 points, in ancient Egypt, this city was built near the start of the Nile's Delta at the traditional dividing point of Upper and Lower Egypt. Most of the dynasties made it their capital. Name this city, which gave its name to Tennessee's largest.
Patrick, St. Joe.
Memphis.
That's correct for 5 points. For 15 points, get this straight once and for all. The policeman isn't there to create disorder. The policeman is there to preserve disorder. Who was responsible for this slip of the tongue while defending the actions of his policemen during the 1968 Democratic Convention?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Daly.
More specific.
John Daly.
Not correct.
Bridgman. Stephen, Bridgman.
Richard Daly.
That's correct.
How many?
15 points. What is the correct time signature for My Old Kentucky Home for 15 points?
Trevor, St. Joe.
4-4.
That's correct for 15 points. For 5 points, she is the title character in Tennyson's The Miller's Daughter. Another woman of the same name is an old tenant of the Lord of Ravenswood in Sir Walter Scott's The Bride of Lammermoor. The most famous was sent by Lewis Carroll to Wonderland.
Trevor, St. Joe.
Alice.
That's correct for 5 points. For 5 points, it will be merely doing what other websites do when it starts showing cookie-type ads that target users based on their browsing history. What social network recently said it?
Trevor, St. Joe.
Facebook.
Not correct.
Bridgman. Stephen.
Twitter.
Twitter is correct for 5 points. For 15 points, as military spending shrinks, it's cutting almost 6,000 jobs and will concentrate more on its commercial jets. What is this major European airplane manufacturer?
Funbo, St. Joe.
Boeing.
Not correct.
Bridgman.
Airbus is the manufacturer.
And this will be the final question in our final round.
For 5 points, it has been disclosed that 5 years ago it cost taxpayers $10 billion, but preserved 1.9 million jobs and basically saved the industry from collapse. I'm talking about the financial bailout of what U.S. automaker?
Trevor, St. Joe.
GM.
That's correct for 5 points.
And that does it. It's the end of today's academic challenge match. We'll tabulate the scores, announce the winners right after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest. All right, people. Let's wrap it up here, shall we? Here we go. We are back on WSJM's Academic Challenge to announce today's winner and to thank our sponsors and the winners by a score of 390 to 75, the team from St. Joseph. Give yourselves a hand if you so choose. Congratulations. And thank you all for joining us on WSJM's Academic Challenge, brought to you by Southwestern Michigan College, Lake Michigan College, Western Michigan University Southwest, and by Chemical Bank. We hope you'll join us again next week at the same time as Hartford and Coloma go head-to-head on Academic Challenge. Thank you again. Ta-da!
Good job, guys.
Almost. Good job. Steve, that was nice.